Welcome back. In this video, we will talk about surface area of a cylinder. First, what is a cylinder? A cylinder is a solid with circular bases that lie in parallel planes. So this here is a cylinder. It's got two bases that are circles, and those two circles are parallel to each other. This cylinder happens to be a right cylinder because if I draw a segment connecting one base to the other, that segment will be perpendicular to both bases. To find the surface area of a cylinder, it's basically the same formula as a prism, where it's 2 times the area of the base plus perimeter times height. But in a prism, the shape of the base changes. In a cylinder, it's always a circle. So instead of putting a capital B, I'm going to put the area formula for a circle. So there are two bases that count as part of the surface area, and each base is pi r squared. Plus, and then in a cylinder it's perimeter times height, but the word for perimeter when you're dealing with a circle is circumference, and that is pi times diameter. Okay, so that takes the place of perimeter, and then that is multiplied by the height of the cylinder. So r here is for the radius. Okay, so that would be halfway across a circle. D here is for diameter, which is all the way across a circle, so that's exactly twice the radius. And H is the height, which is the distance between the bases. So H would be right there. Okay, so we are going to use that to find the surface area of 4 cylinders. So for our first cylinder, and I'll show the formula there. For the first cylinder, we've got a radius of 6 and a height of 6. So the surface area is 2 pi r squared. So that's 2 pi 6 squared plus pi dh. So that's pi, and then d is the diameter, which is all the way across, and that is 12. Times the height, which is 6. Okay, now we're going to leave our answers exact. So we're not going to actually put pi in our calculator. We'll just use that in the answer. So we'll treat it kind of like a variable, even though it's not. 2 times 6 squared plus 12 times 6 is 144. So the surface area is 144 pi inches squared. Okay, then for our next cylinder, we're given the diameter, so the surface area is 2 pi r squared. R is half of the diameter. Half of 42 is 21, so it's 2 pi 21 squared. Plus pi dh. D is 42. And h, the height, is 50. So we have 2 times 21 squared plus 42 times 50. That's 2,982. So the surface area is 2,982 times pi yards squared. Okay, so our next cylinder happens to be laying on its side. The radius is 17. The diameter is double that, which is 34. And the height is the distance between the bases, so from one circular base to the other is 25. So the surface area is 2 pi r squared, 2 pi 17 squared, plus pi dh, pi 34, times 25. So we have 2 times 17 squared plus 34 times 25, and that is 1,428. So our surface area is 1,428 times pi feet squared. And our last one here, once again, we are given the diameter. Now this bottom circle isn't shown all the way, but I'm going to draw the radius on it. The diameter is 12, so the radius is 6 meters. So the surface area is 2 pi r squared, so that's 6 squared, plus pi times d, the diameter, is 12, times the height, the distance between the bases, is 5. So we have 2 times 6 squared plus 12 times 5, and that is 132. So our answer here for the surface area is 132 pi meters squared. Okay, so what I have done here is all exact answers. What if we actually need a number that we can use differently from having a pi? So if I actually need to know how much do I need to fill this with, I might not want to use pi there. So I would just type in my calculator 144 times pi, and the surface area there would be 452.39 inches squared. So if we actually need a number that does not include pi, so that would be called an approximate answer, we just multiply that number by pi or by 3.14 to get a good approximation.